Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me. It is me. I'm laughing. Why am I laughing? I don't know. Why am I laughing? Why are you laughing? You're probably laughing too. But we have a lot to talk about here, people. Post-market wrap up on this Thursday, March 9th, 2023. All right, let's start off with this. What are we witnessing? Okay, so the stock market got hit pretty good today yet again. There was some debt buying. Okay, all well and good. But what do we really? What's happening? What's happening right before our eyes? This is a systemic breakdown. The entire financial system is debt saturated beyond, I think, anyone's wildest dreams. But I tell you right now, it's going to get worse. We are really close, honestly, to a pivotal moment here. I've explained in articles I've written, in videos that I have done, we are very rapidly, okay, and this is not by accident, moving towards that moment of what I call maximum saturation, when the system becomes so overwhelmed with debt, because that's this whole thing. You know how it works. It's debt based 100%. The mechanism demands that debt be pulled into existence in greater and greater amounts. It cannot ever stop. And we're reaching a point where that moment of where the world has become so saturated with the relentless acquisition of debt that we're watching now inflation continue to surge. I mean, this is the opening act. The opening act, I mean, you and I, if you've been with me for any length of time, we've known this was going to happen from years ago. This system, the way it's set up here, this debt-based economic model, I've covered this at length to the point of where I want to vomit. Okay, the way that it functions, it must be fueled more every day. Okay, and what is the ramifications of that? Well, eventually, this whole thing would reach a moment of maximum saturation, a systemic breakdown, and that's what we're seeing. And it's interesting. So yes, the stock market got hit. Now, what else happened today? The 10-year yield came down, even though we watched the market drop. Okay, still, if you want to look at the MMRI, my lovely creation here, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, link in the description of this video, we were at just about 261 earlier today. And I laughed, if you recall my morning video. I said, let's see how this market reacts, because stock futures were higher. Stock futures went up after, well, we found out, or the data, that's all fake anyway, told us that people filed for unemployment claims in a greater amount than what was expected, and continuing claims, more people are out of work, and the stock futures went up. And I said in that video from this morning, it's going to be difficult for this market to pull out any kind of a gain, regardless if the futures were higher, with the MMRI where it is. Okay, you and I, honestly, look, we're watching this in real time. We're watching this freak show come apart in real time, keeping our eyes on risk. Risk in this market is not only reaching a critical mass, okay, but the debt market itself, as you are well aware of, is unstable. Look at the banks today. Look at the regional banks today. They got destroyed. So, look, we have in our freaking face sign after sign after sign that this whole thing is, again, and I've said this repeatedly, teetering on a knife's edge. As a matter of fact, I did an interview with Gerald Salente. I believe it's coming out tomorrow, where we both agree that this is teetering on a knife's edge. It ain't going to take much to push this whole thing one way or the other. And either way is off of a cliff here. And we're already there. But again, what makes me want to laugh? You got the puppets, the freaking puppets on the mainstream media telling everyone how strong the economy is. It's so hot. It's fantastic. Really, honestly. But you see, thank you, Carlos. But they don't explain to people or the people that watch these kind of programs. I don't know who these kind of people are, how it's all a lie. Okay, the economy is cratering worldwide at its fastest pace ever on record. Okay, not only do we have that, I want you to think about this scenario. Okay, not only do we have a global economy contracting rapidly, fastest ever, we have a central bank or central banks collectively around the world who are raising rates faster than we've ever seen in our lifetimes. Anyone here that's watching this has never seen anything like this before. And it's not going to stop. The mission here of central banks is to continue to destroy the economy, kill the consumer. And I'm going to tell you something else here. If you look at the title of this particular video, I want you to pay attention to something. Where did I put it? I got scribbles all over the place. So barons. Let's talk about this. I want you to look this up for yourself. I always like you to do a little homework. So barons is reporting. Are you ready for this? Sit down if you're not. The U.S. government is worried that China will weaponize the supply chains. Well, here's the translation here. The United States will weaponize the supply chains, which is also going to cause shortages with food, water, and basic necessities. And they're going to blame China. They're already setting the groundwork here. Okay, everything that happens to us here that they try to blame on everybody else is because of our own government. Okay, it's the puppets that are sitting there. It's the real government, which is the Federal Reserve. They direct everything, the economy, the markets, the financial system, the flow of information, everything. It's the central banks who run the world, and that's it. Okay, once you get hip to that, you're going to be better off. But again, that's the translation. The United States is worried that China will weaponize the supply chain. The direct translation, I'm going to repeat it. The United States will weaponize supply chains, food, water, and basic necessities against its own citizens, and then blame China or whoever else they got to blame. They're already setting the groundwork for the war. The war is the reason why we're having inflation. Meanwhile, we had before the war. Okay, but you see, they don't think you're smart enough to realize that. The situation here, okay, since the last meltdown in this market, the big financial crisis here, and where they reinflated the housing bubble, they reinflated stock market bubble by pumping the system, saturating the system with debt, okay, by buying it all, essentially, has led us to where we are now. And we all understood that this mechanism here of pumping cash into the system, debt into the system, would eventually cause this exact situation. We've covered it over and over and over again. This is no surprise. Again, so when you hear Yellowstone Powell or a Fed president or a brain dead politician, they're all puppets. You know that. They have to toe the line. They're all playing the game. Try to say no one saw it coming. No one saw this coming. This was completely unforeseen. You say nonsense, because this is something we've covered here repeatedly for years, freaking years. Anyway, that's really where we stand in this whole thing. I really believe, and I covered this months ago. Maybe it's in the title of one of my videos. We are going to see food shortages, water shortages, basic necessities shortages. Thank you, Leon. I mean, look, it's in your face, and they're going to blame China. They're already setting it up. They're going to blame more inflation on the war, okay, this expanding war that we continue to throw untold amounts of cash at, and then that mechanism is not going to stop either here. Oh, yeah, but according to our lovely, mummified, very nice president, I was going to say something so bad. The man, he's not a man. Okay, you have to understand what we're talking about. We're talking about we're talking about another thing here who's doing nothing but lie to the American people, as every one of these puppets actually do. He wants you to believe, you and me to believe, that over the next 10 years, policies are so fantastic. And he's obviously not going to be president for the next 10 years. But anyway, that they're going to shrink the deficit by $3 trillion. Let me explain this to you in case you don't know. This has no chance of ever happening. Zero. But you see, it's interesting. When the Thing, our lovely president, was opening up his pie hole, they were talking about raising taxes and a bunch of other things, but not one syllable about cutting spending. Oh, this is interesting. You know what? I want to cover this real quick. He did talk about taxing big oil. Okay, I'm all for taxing big oil, but why do we subsidize it? What the mummy man won't tell you is we, the American people, subsidize big oil and big pharma. Now, he's also talking about, cutting wasteful spending for big pharma. Let me ask you this while we're friends, right? We can talk about anything. Why is it, in your opinion, that we subsidize big pharma? They get subsidies from the government. Okay, why do we do that? But we're gonna stop wasteful spending. That's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna raise taxes. But we're gonna spend into oblivion, and there ain't no way in hell, out of hell, or anywhere else that $3 trillion are gonna get reduced off the debts and the deficits and everything else that we have. These things are just gonna balloon. You all know that. But again, the liar and thief, because that's what he is. Okay, not. Oh God, I can't stand it. I can't stand listening to these so-called world leaders. None of them lead a damn thing. They're leading us all down the rat hole into oblivion as central banks fulfill their end game. You got it? To become the lenders and buyers of last resort. That's it, as they destroy the global economy and they kill the consumer. People, your lives are in danger, all of you. Everyone, me too. All right. Our lives are in danger because of these institutions, and there will not be a revolt and there will not be a revolution here at all because of these entitlement programs, and there's too many people are slaves to the system. That's it. Anyway, going back to the market. So as I said, we got hit across the board. Financials got decimated today. Some debt buying, although it wasn't enough to prop up the market, because we got this MMRI in a clear danger zone. And this danger zone has the potential to get a lot worse here. Relative strength of the dollar did come down. That offset a rising of the MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator here. Crude oil fell under pressure. Silver fell under pressure. Gold caught a bid. Cryptocurrencies pretty much across the board got hit as well. Look, this is just, but look, there's no guesswork here for you and I. We know where this is going to go. We have the best tool in the world, in my view, to gauge risk in this market, and it has called this perfectly. I'm talking about the MMRI. Let us move forward here. Man. So we got this, the Biden-Stein budget here, and it was all about raising taxes and, of course, a lot more spending here. And nothing about cutting subsidies, but he wants to raise taxes. How does that work? Maybe you can explain that to me. So he wants to raise taxes on big corporations, big oil. Okay, but we're still going to subsidize that? I don't think that works. As a matter of fact, I say we throw it out. If I ran for president, I'd be getting rid of that right now. Okay, with regard to big pharma, why are we subsidizing that? And then they rape us. They rape everyone with the cost of these medications. Insane. Why does that happen? Oh, maybe because it's part of the military-industrial complex, the United States of corporate America. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe I think that is what it is, people. I tell you, man, it's so freaking bent out of shape. But again, seriously, I want you to realize what you are seeing. You are watching a systemic breakdown of not just the markets. Okay, the markets has got everyone fixated, everyone distracted. Look at, oh, my stock portfolio was going down. What are they going to do? It's unfreaking believable. And that's what they do. They got you all, everyone scared about looking at their stock portfolios, which they're going way down, just so you know. Okay, we know where we're leading. This is all leading to. The stock market is in la, and then maybe even beyond la land. Okay, it's in a super bubble along with everything else. There's no real price discovery mechanism. Nothing today has a price discovery mechanism. Again, what is a price discovery mechanism? When you have real buyers and real sellers in the market trying to set fair value. But when you have a mechanism where central banks are out here literally buying it all, keeping rates suppressed now since the last meltdown, what do you think is going to happen? Things are going to be real? Like the market's real and housing prices are real and the stock market's real and everything else is real? Really? Honestly? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, how about that? So President Biden, he's really want, there will be no transactions in cryptocurrencies. No, he wants you in the dollar. What does that tell you? Does a single central banker on this world want you transacting outside of their system in any way, shape, or form? Maybe even using gold or silver or Barter? No, of course not. They want you transacting in their system. Henceforth, why we're going to a completely digital system where they're going to track every transaction down to the thousandth and 10,000th of a cent. They're going to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's a control mechanism, people. That's what we have here. Anyway, with that said, I think I got a lot off my chest, honestly, and there's probably a lot more. I didn't even finish. I mean, look at my handwriting. It's insane. It's the handwriting of a madman in many ways here. So again, let's get a couple of takeaways before I go to your questions here. A couple of takeaways is the biggest takeaway from this video, okay, is a weaponization. You are going to see, mark my words on this, okay? Mark your own words on this too. And if any of you don't believe this is going to happen, I think you're completely deluded. A weaponization of the supply chains, a weaponization of food, water, and basic necessities, and then they're going to blame it on China, the war, or wherever else. It's not going to be anybody else's fault here. Inflation going much higher, and they're going to blame it on the war and supply chains and shortages of food and water and everything else. Don't you see the setup? It's in your freaking face. If you can't see it, that's where it is. And again, more spending with no end in sight. No end in sight. This Pentagon budget here, nearly $1 trillion here, getting geared up for war and death on an industrial scale. Death on an industrial scale as nations around the world are arming themselves to their teeth. World War III, we're already in the opening salvos of it. And it's very sad to see this unfolding here. Really, truly, it really is. Okay, with that said, that's cute. Luna, this little heart thing, cute. Anyway, people, Lobotomy Joe. Yeah, he actually does seem like that, doesn't he? You know, look, let me explain this to you too. Whenever I pick on or I put what I believe is the proper perspective on President Joe Bidenstein, I get called out because people say I'm picking on an old man. Greg, how could you be? Greg, does it make you feel good that you're sitting there picking on an elderly person? Does it make me feel good? Oh, makes me feel fantastic, because that's not what I'm doing. People twist my words into every way you can freaking dream about, think about, fantasize about, and everything else. Anyway, let's cover a couple of things here before I go. I'm telling you, I'm getting so wound up this stuff here, people. But look, let me ask you a question. We're all friends. Again, does a damn thing you're seeing surprise you? Or is this exactly what you would have expected to see? Because you're here with me every day. We cover these freaking markets. We know what's going on here. We know who the players are. We know what they want. We know what their goals are. So does anything surprise you? Does a single thing surprise you? And I'm going to tell you again, in case you don't know, or in case you're new here. If you think that anything you're seeing right now, and I'm not even talking about the freaking stock market, is going to get any better, you are really not, your compass is way off. Way off. It is exactly. It's exactly what we expected, and it's just going to get so much worse for us. People, look, I think all of us here, I would like to believe that this family that we've created, this is a worldwide family. We are people who care about each other. We really are. Okay, what do I tell you every Friday? Love each other, care about each other, and be charitable. So I believe that like attracts like. That's my mindset. That's how I look at the world. I feel like even if I don't know someone down the block, you know what? I'm kind of responsible for what happens to these people. If we have a better world, we're all going to be better off. You know what I'm saying here? We can't just hate people. They want us to hate each other because of everything, because of our eye color, hair color, skin color, religion, how we dress, how we walk, what dogs we have, whatever, you know, what sex you are, not gender. Okay, I hate that gender word. Anyway, we got to come together, people. We really going to. What have I told you for like 10 years? That we don't have anything if we don't have each other. And I think we have each other. I really do. This is the family. That's what this is. And we know who the enemy is. And we are not going to love our enemies. Okay. We're going to go after our enemies. That's what we're going to do here. Yeah, I tell you, man, it's so sick here, honestly. All right. Yes. Unite. That's exactly what we need to do. People, this video is getting awfully long, and you know what happens when these videos get too long? I start getting complaints, not from you. I think all of you would like to be. I like being here. We could probably do this all day long. I will get Coco back. Okay, I will get Coco back. I think he's getting walked. He's always getting walked out here. Anyway, the ghoul. Look, I've controlled myself. I don't. Oh, see, I had a relapse. I had a relapse from the ghoul. Oh my god, I can't think about it. Anyway, people, nothing is going to stop us from what we're doing. Okay, betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank, holding hard assets. Let them play their game with the derivatives. Okay, I believe that's where we need to go. Be commodities. I think are going to go much higher moving forward. Energy. Let them play their games. Again, if war begins to expand, you can only, and it will. What do you think is going to happen to the demand for energy? If supply chains start to get cut off, and you know they're going to, already got warned, because the United States is worried, very, very worried that China's going to weaponize the supply chains. That means the United States is going to do it. We're going to do it. And we're going to inflict the damage on we the people, okay? Because we have no representation here anymore. We have a bunch of puppets that are sitting there willing to do anything, to whore themselves out for whatever. That's it. They want the power, they want the money. And you and I, we don't mean nothing to them. All right. Anyway, pretty much that's all, people. We're gonna call it, and I hope you got something out of this video. I want to hear from you. Please comment about the things I've covered here, and we will resume the festivities tomorrow in the morning. It's Friday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. At least I get Saturday off. I really only have one day off. Yeah, because I do my markets and look ahead on Sunday. Anyway, that's where we're at, people. Okay, this guy here from the heart loves you a lot, and I mean that. We got to love each other. Okay, we got to embrace that, and we got to start. It's got to start somewhere. Might as well start with us. All right. Anyway, with that said, I'll see you all in the morning. Have a great night, and well, that's all.